Abzu doesn't start like the typical game, throwing the player into a war-torn, violent world or long, sprawling adventure. Instead, it starts itself calmly floating about in a vast underwater world, coaxing the player to go forth and find their own little adventure at their own pace. Traveling through a varied bunch of underwater landscapes, our little robot helper that we control has the option of sitting on meditation statues, revitalizing the surrounding water with interesting species of underwater life, and steadily repairing the ocean from the damage that has been caused. This little robot helper can be viewed as an allegory for a young upcoming person growing up in society, being born from quite a destructive civilization and still trying to help save nature around them. And truthfully, that seems to be the main hook of the story of Abzu, saving our precious oceans from a looming threat made by our ancestors. There's vast little messages to be found underneath the surface of Abzu as well, packaged in neat little bundles so that no real theme is thrust right into the player's face at any time. Instead, they're calmly brought along, like little bits of seaweed dancing on the waves. One such theme can be in understanding the majesty of some of our more ferocious sea creatures, namely the shark that can be found within the video game. While most definitely carnivorous and violent against the little robot helper early on in the game, we as a player come to understand that the shark is naturally defending the ocean from the looming threat of the robot creation spreading all throughout their natural habitat around them. We're asked to take this theme to the real world, to try and understand that even though society has vilified creatures such as sharks, that we have to look beyond that and see the importance they have to our ecosystem. I too wouldn't exactly like to stumble onto a hungry shark if I happened to be swimming, but there is a lovely balance that humans can strike by appreciating them from a distance, like art. This is the core of Abzu. Simple themes brought along in a relaxing journey through the beauty of the ocean surrounding us. From the moment it had been announced, people had been able to accurately predict that it wasn't like most other games. A number of people within the gaming community seem to believe that games always had to have some sort of task, some long-standing goal that had to be worked on for it to even count as a game. As such, games such as Abzu were often derided as nothing more than quote-unquote walking simulators, with not much more to do than enjoying the vast views that the creators had made around them. I, admittedly, used to be one of those people myself. If games didn't have a long-standing interactive element, I often didn't enjoy playing them, either putting them on the shelf and forgetting about them, or selling them on to new people who would enjoy them. But the times have begun to change, and so too have our video games. They've evolved to include such a wide variety of art, including ones that purely exist for beautiful views, a simple yet captivating story, and sometimes just to take a moment to escape away from reality, to relax. If there's anything that stuck with me the most from Abzu, it was the sheer fact that less is more. Stories don't have to be long enough to fill several football fields worth of content, nor stuffed to the gills with dark content in order to fix the imaginary perception that would be looked down on for our pastimes. It's time that we forget these former fears that people hold over media such as cartoons, video games, and even within animated movies. The idea that something is viewed as quote-unquote for children should not be an insult to anyone playing or enjoying them. We were once children ourselves, after all, and the way children view the world is not an insult to anyone. And should anyone try to make it sound that way, then we should be confident enough in our stories we consume that we realize such derision is not proper criticism. After all, we are adults. Instead, we should focus on the message that we want to tell, the story that we want people to understand, and we want to make sure it is a beautiful one. Make something that people can relax with, have fun with, understand wholly without having to reach for a thesaurus or understand all the nuances of psychology. A simple story that everyone can enjoy. And that is the beauty of Abzu.